So what I want to do now is I want to bring back out to the stage. We're going to have my good friend, amazing speaker, Dr. CJ Mertz come out in a minute, who's the CEO of the Biolimitless Centers of Excellence, to give you a little bit more clarity, a little bit more certainty, and what's possible with the Biolimitless Centers of Excellence. But before we do that, we've got a really cool video on the centers that we want to play for you guys. So check this out. CJ will be right out.
Imagine a place where self-care is redefined, where your journey begins with a simple touch.
Welcome back, Dr. Eric.
Embark on a personalized path as unique as you are, a holistic self-care experience. From the moment you arrive, you're greeted, guided, and welcomed with excitement and hope. An atmosphere that educates, motivates, and inspires, where every sense is engaged, sights, sounds, and scents that uplift. Experience precision testing with state-of-the-art technology, utilizing the latest advancements in precision therapeutics. Discover solutions that balance your body's physical, chemical, and neuro-emotional well-being. Regenerative therapies like stem cell and peptide treatments, creating lasting change from the inside out. Relax into a biobed, where innovation meets rejuvenation, as you experience PEMF, sound healing, light therapies, and more. Feel the relief with natural pain management that works in harmony with your body. Receive physiological alignment through chiropractic and manual therapies. Leverage cutting-edge brain health protocols for memory, clarity, and expansion. AI and machine learning enhance your care, optimizing outcomes and reducing costs. Commit to lifelong wellness, integrating self-care into every aspect of a long and healthy life. Born from the marriage of traditional healing and scientific advancement. Imagine Biolimitless Centers of Excellence. Self-care starts here.
Bring them out, bring them out, hey. Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, hey.
All right. Hey, can we give our DJ a shout? Has he not been awesome, man? You are awesome. So, listen, before we get started, I just had a technical question. I think it's for, do you say it Rabu? I just want to know, am I eligible to win that car? Because I'm one of the most competitive people you'll ever meet. I've already got the license plate for it. Does anybody out here think you can beat me? Oh, really? Okay. All right. I see. Bring it on. So I was at a very cool conference. I speak all over the world. I was going to guest speak at this event. And there were all these really cool vendors in there, really top line products and services and whatnot. And I was about maybe 30 minutes from having to go and get backstage like here. And I happened to walk by this booth. And this gentleman was so perfect in the way that he tried to get my attention that I normally would have just walked right by him and just gone on my way. But I stopped and I really just gave him a moment because he was going to sell something and I wanted to hear his pitch. And it turns out, some of you have probably done something like this, but he used a technology that's like litmus testing, like just off your tongue. And the technology that he used was that he could put it into a machine that they had created. And back to some of the things that we've talked about today that you've heard, is that it could tell you what your physiological age is. I thought, okay, that's cool. So he put it in the machine and he came back and he had this really kind of stunned look on his face. He said, I don't know if I've ever seen this, or it's been a long time since I've seen this. So he asked me my age and I told him I'm 64 and he said, this says that you're a 28-year-old. I said, you're damn right. I mean, now, I just wanted to see that machine was working, so are there any other questions? And No, seriously, it was really cool. He really wanted to ask me some questions about, can you tell me how you live your life? I'd love to know, what are you doing that caused that? Because I really don't see that much. And how many of you know that's really at the heart of where we're going? Say yes if you get that, right? There's a book out. The very first one you're going to read is Becoming Biolimitless by my friend Eric. How many of you already did the download on that? Yeah. Awesome. Can we give Eric a big shout for that too? Unbelievable. Love you, bro. Love you. There's a book out. It's called, listen to this. The title is 100. 100 is the new 30. By one of the leading longevity experts in the world. And I think the title says the whole thing, right? It's not just about getting sick people well. How are you living your life to the point where when you are 40 and 50 and 60 and 70, I was just actually looking up, and I don't know how I got there, but I wound up actually hearing about this man. He's 70 years old. Maybe some of you have heard of him. Just totally ripped. And he's actually competing in America Ninja Warrior. Like, who wants to be doing that when they're 70, years old, right? Yeah. So anyhow, I also want to know, was it John that was up here? I'd like to get the energy drink that he's on. That was cool too. Okay. So Biolimitless Centers of Excellence. Hey, we're going to open up 2,000 of them. Okay. I got that. But what we probably didn't hear, and that's what I want to just take a few minutes. You're going to be able to figure out and connect the dots here pretty quickly. I want you to see what the revenues could and should look like. How many of you here, and I'm going to talk to the ladies because the guys can do this, but for the ladies, have you ever gone to, let's say, a hairstylist, somebody that you've really loved, like you really enjoyed how they did your hair or how they did, the coloring or whatever it was, and you've referred somebody to them, and that person that you referred came in to see your stylist? How does that make you feel? Fantastic. And at the same time, how many of you know that your friend is spending their money in that stylist's office? So one of the things I really want you to get, and Eric says this all the time, is that Biolimitless Centers of Excellence are designed to serve the classes and the masses. So what that means is there'll be people that will come into our centers that may only invest a few $100s, and that's all they can do right now. But I need you to also know we're going to have a Mayo Clinic-like care plan with the top services that are available on planet Earth right now that will be close to a $50,000 care plan that people are going to line up to get. For those that don't, money is not their issue. There was an article, this was several years ago, and I just want to point this out. It was Forbes magazine, and Forbes magazine had this on the back of their monthly magazine, and it was a survey of self-made millionaires. That was what they needed to have in common. And the second thing was these were all men and women over the age of 65. So they're millionaires, multimillionaires, self-made, and over 65. And they asked them 20 different questions, and the answers were so spread out. But there was one question that virtually every one of them answered the same. And the question was this: if you knew earlier in your life that by age 65 that you'd have all this money, what would you have done differently? Is there anything you would have done differently? And virtually every single one of them said, I would have taken a whole lot better care of my health. Say yes if you know what I'm saying, right? Because these are people now that are on an oxygen machine, they're on a cane, they're like, I have more money than I can count, and who cares? Because look at where I'm at. So I'm telling you that the kind of impact that we're going to make is not just in people's health, but you've been hearing about wealth this afternoon. Understand that these centers are designed in a way to create $9 million of gross revenue annually. I just want you to kind of breathe these numbers in for a moment, so when you start to hear us putting 20 centers and 100 centers and 200 centers, and then it will go from there. I want you to remember that number. Another number I think that's important is that it's going to cost about $1.5 million annually to run them. Right? So if you do some just quick numbers, what you're realizing is there's about $7.5 million of gross margin. Say yes if you get what I'm saying here so far. So do you remember what Jeremy was saying about 50% of that is going back to the crowd fund, to the equity partners, to you? Just get a feel for that, right? And so then what happens from there is we're going to continue to grow that until we have done enough to pay back not only the $5 million that was invested, but to open up that second practice. Some of these numbers may actually help you. Recruiting, hiring, developing world-class teams. We are partnering with the top recruiting companies on earth so that we have the nurse practitioners, we have the physicians, we have the assistants, we have everyone that's going to make those numbers that I just talked about. We are only going to have the best talent in these practices. I also want you to know that I've traveled almost 4 million miles spreading our message around the world. And what's interesting is how sought after American doctors are outside the United States, mainly because of the kind of training that's available inside the United States. So one of the things that we're very focused on is being able to find those doctors that meet our requirements, which are gold standard, and they also have a desire, for example, to practice in Europe, to practice in Tokyo, to practice in Singapore, or wherever else we're going to open our centers. So this is going to be a massive undertaking. And how many of you get that if we're going to put 20 practices, 20 centers, or 100 centers, how many people we're actually employing? Say yes if you get that, right? That is a full-time process, and these are going to be the most amazing people. And did you hear that you get discounts on coming into these centers? Like, who's excited about coming into one of these centers? I know I am. Yeah. So these, I've heard Eric say this now 100 times if he said it once, and that is, this whole thing's based on world-class systems. And so what you're going to notice in these Biolimitless centers of excellence is the way that patients flow through these practices, these centers, the care, the customer service, if you will, that happens, the actual testing that's going on when they come back and get a report of findings and they see exactly what the cause of their health issues are, and then they'll see what the doctor's recommendation is, and then they'll see all of this incredible technology and these services that are available to them. They're going to tell all their friends. They're going to tell all their friends. And I'm hoping what you're going to be doing is you're going to be thinking about, if you happen to live in an area, let's say we open one of these in St. Louis, that if you're in the St. Louis area, you are going to be driving people to the Biolimitless Center in St. Louis. Amen. Right. And so whether it's Scottsdale or Orange County or Austin, Texas, or where, they're going to be opening up. Your participation in that is unmatched. Our new patient campaign, you're going to be hearing a lot more of this probably through webinars, but I just want to share this just before I close, and that is, we believe that these centers will have over 100 new people every month, coming in to find out who we are, what we're doing, and how they can be helped. You see here it says a sophisticated ground game and an air game. The ground game is all the way that we do referrals, right? It's all the way that we do relational management that we've heard now for the last hour, which was just brilliant. The air game is how we're going to wind up actually promoting Biolimitless centers of excellence through social media, through radio, and every other way that people are going to learn, about us. And I'm really excited about this. This is critical. That's the lifeblood, would you agree, to building any business. And so I just want you to know the attention to this, the investment into this, the people that we're going to be using in this is second to none. So the therapies, the modalities, the treatments, the doctors, the team, the healing products and services, I want you to get this. It's as if we are the Mayo Clinic of natural health and healing. Who's up for that? Yeah. And I want you to really feel me on that. My standard and anyone else that's going to be on our teams, that's our standard. That is, we will not do anything less than that, right? And that's why so many people will benefit from it, and while so many people will want to be part of it. So again, I just love and appreciate you. I'm really excited and honored to be part of this group. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.